welcome you to this episode of Politics Spotlight. The Independent National Electoral Commission has declared Senator Adeleke the governor-elect of Osun State after scoring a majority vote cast in the just concluded governorship election in the state. Adeleke's victory came nearly 4 years after failing by a small margin in his bid to govern the state. Adeleke pulled 463,341 votes to defeat his closest opponent, the incumbent governor of the state, Governor Gboyega Oyetola, who pulled 375,027 votes. On this episode, we want to consider the turning of tables in the Nigeria's governance and political industry as Senator Adeleke-led administration take over the affairs of Osun State in another 4 years. And on the program today are two gentlemen, of course, Mr. Kolade Segun-Okeowo, President, Advocates for Right Leadership Association, and of course, attending through Zoom from the United States of America is Dr. Samuel Alfa, President, Kogi State Organization, United States. And I'm Adeshina Olaniwaju. The conversation begins after this break. Let me welcome you again to Politics Spotlight this Friday. And of course, today I have two gentlemen with me. In the studio here is Mr. Kolade Segun-Okeowo, is the President Advocate for Right Leadership Association. And of course, I have attended through Zoom Dr. Samuel Alfa. Dr. Samuel Alfa is the President, Kogi State Organization in the United States. Of course, we are looking at the turning of tables in the Nigeria's political industry and governance. And let me start with you, Dr. Samuel. Let's do a comparison between the Ekiti State election and the Osun State election. What are you making of these elections?
Thank you very much, Mr. Olaniwaju. It is good to be on this program again, and to my colleague. It is rather unfortunate that we are in a state of being surprised at what has happened, when we talk of the Osun election, because to me, that is the true definition of what democracy should be. It's a place where you elect people to actually be in office because of the vision that they carry, because of the things that they promise to do, and because you believe in them. Having looked at their integrity, having looked at their pedigree, you believe that they can deliver. And so what has happened there, come to think of it, is really nothing that should be surprising, especially when you have seen how democracy is played out in the other parts of the world. So yes, the tide might be turning, but I think we are now getting what the true definition of democracy should really be and what the demonstration of it should be. And don't fail to realize that it is also now putting into work the new amended electoral act in Nigeria, the one that was signed by the president, President Buhari. So this is the true definition of democracy, and this is what it should have been all along. Okay. But now we are waking up to it because the people are now taking control of what should be. Okay. Yes, we are not there yet. We have a very long way to go, but it is a right place to start the journey. All right. That's what I want to say.
Okay, I'm going to let's come back to the studio here. KSO.
Yeah.
In the last election in the Osun State, we don't have the cases of ballot snatching. We don't have, of course, we have a little number of vote buyings, but compared to past elections, we have little little deficiencies when it comes to vote buying, when it comes to snatching of ballot boxes, talking about legalism, talking about killings and the like. Do you think with this, do you think that the table of political electoral processes of governance is turning as far as Nigeria is concerned?
Well, thank you very much, Lariwa Gio Adesina. Thank you very much for having me again on your program. And thank you also to Dr. Alfa, who is joining us all the way from the United States. God bless you, Doctor. Well, I will look at it from two perspectives. From the positive angle, yes, we are getting better. It shows that votes do count. I have told people severally that if they think that votes don't count, they are joking. Anybody who thinks that votes don't count are joking. And I've said it jokingly that if you think votes don't count, why do politicians
buy votes?
Why do they buy votes if you think votes don't count? So this is a pointer to the fact that votes actually count. And the fact that an incumbent can also lose an election shows that the power of incumbency does not guarantee continuity. You know, it depends on the people, the choice of the people. And we must also appreciate the fact that, yes, like you said, violence is on the low. People have realized that when you introduce violence into politics, when you introduce violence into election, it is the people that suffer. It is not the politicians that suffer. It is the people, the average man on the street. The son of the politician will not be caught in the web of electoral violence. The daughter of the politician will never be caught in the web of electoral violence. It is the sons and daughters of the average man on the street that get caught up in electoral violence. So it's sensible, and it's good that people are beginning to realize that electoral violence does no good to anybody. So kudos to the people of Osun. However, on the negative side, I don't see any table turning here in Osun. I didn't see tables turning. What turned? Two old horses slugging it out. The same results. It is either A or B. It is either B or A. So it is the same scenario. In 2018, it was either A, it was A, now it is B. So no table has turned. Now it points to the fact that the two gladiators, APC and PDP, are birds of the same plumage, using the same tactics of war. Now, using the same tactics of war. Now, it now depends on whose tactics exceed or overrides the order at any point in time that determine who will win. Because if you look at the results, the performances of the other political parties was abysmal, was shocking. Are you saying that there were no other political parties in Osun State? People had no other choice except APC and PDP. Labour was not a consideration. ADC was not a consideration. All the other parties, I am shocked at the result of the Labour Party. Labour Party scored less than 2,000 votes or thereabout. And the presidential candidate of that party will be facing election.
So are you now saying that, looking at the phenomena of the Peter Obi, the Labour Party and the like, are you saying that, of course, the Labour Party was in that state a day or some days before election to canvass for
Obi was there
to canvass for Suleiman Lasson, the Labour Party aspirant. Are you saying that people's understanding, or they are not aware of either you have to vote for a personality, or we are talking about party here?
Now, two things are still involved here. Now, the fact is that commercial voting is still a major challenge that we have to buckle with in Nigeria. Commercial voting and controlled voting. I have said on this program before that there are three types of voters: the commercial voter, the controlled voter, and the conscience voters. It shows that controlled voting, people who vote according to the pattern of leadership maybe they are members of a political party, or a political leader is telling them this is the way to go. Whether the way leads to hell or it leads to destruction, it doesn't matter. Our leaders say this is the way to go, and they go there. The other said the commercial voters who will vote based on the money that they are giving on election day. These two categories, they are still holding sway in Nigeria. If not, with all the noise that have been made about the Labour Party, I do not expect the Labour Party to come out with 2,000. And then finally, it also goes to show that for a party to make impact in Nigeria, that party requires a very strong structure. A very strong structure, not a structure that is built over a period of 9-10 months. We're talking of structures that have been built. One of the errors of other political parties is this. Once elections are over, once the election is over in Osun State, for example, now, I see the other parties going into limbo. They go quiet, waiting for 2027. No, this is 2022. Okay. Their own will be 2026. They are waiting for 2026 before they start, These structures must continue. Now, those new parties that are making inroad now, I will advise Peter Obi, for example, win or lose in this next election, he must not go quiet. Win or lose, he must not go quiet. It will be a saying for Peter Obi, either he wins or he loses in 2023, to go quiet and not continue to build the structure of the party against 2027.
All right. Let's go back to Dr. Samuel. Dr. Samuel, what do you see to this? Peter Obi was in Osun State to canvass for the party candidate, and with the noise and the phenomena of the Obi obedient and social media followers he has, the party scored below 3,000. What do you have to say with that regard?
Okay, well, there are so many things to actually put into place when you consider the fact that the Labour Party did not perform as well as it should. My take on it is this. People should not vote for the party, or they should vote for the individual. So let's look at the pedigree of the individual that was running and campaigning to be the governor of Osun State. Because at the end of the day, Peter Obi is not coming there to be the governor. So what credibility does that person have in that state? Okay, then when you talk of continuity after the election, it has to be the people who are on ground there and the leaders that they have that will continue to actually maintain that momentum and not lose hope or and go to bed until 2026. So the people have to continue. But the issue in Nigeria right now, what we do is we vote for party. Okay? And we vote for the one that has, the money bags. And that is not the way it should be. We should vote for people who have the vision. Yes, even though there are two horses that have come into place, like my colleague said, but then obviously I think people go to the point where they also evaluated the work that was performed by the incumbent and then compared to say, well, maybe we need to try another person. So we have a lot of awareness issue, we have a lot of education to actually do, which I'm glad that Mr. Okeowo's group is actually working on. We need to let people know that, yes, they need to become aware of voting. They need to become aware of what democracy is. They need to become aware of what it means to actually have people in leadership. And that it's not a matter of whether they have a lot of money to share, whether they have money to buy things, but then they should consider what is the vision that this person that we're actually voting for, bringing for us. How is that going to change our lives? How is that going to change our state? Look at infrastructural development. How much of it was there during the last regime?
That's the next question I want to throw to you, sir, Dr. Samuel. what are the, it's not as if the incumbent governor has not done anything, not done well. Now, let's talk about the crooked parts to be strengthened by the Senator Ademola-led administration as he take over the affairs of Osun State in another 4 years. What are the crooked parts you need to strengthen as far as Osun State is concerned?
Well, that for me depends on what his manifesto for actually running is, number one, and then what the concerns of the people are. Obviously, there's something that people saw in him before voting him in. I'm not going to be the one that will set up what the structure of his administration should be. But obviously, he's coming there with a vision, and I hope he has a vision, his own vision for the state, and not the vision of PDP. Okay, because that's what we do mostly in Nigeria. When you ask for what's your manifesto, they're giving you the manifesto of the party. No, what is your own and that you are going to bring in for your people? Because at the end of the day, these are your people. So what does he have? Unfortunately, I don't have access to his manifesto for running, but I do hope that whatever he does, it will be to alleviate the suffering, that is spread through the whole country, and that he will at least, ensure that there is infrastructural development. Look at the state of health and the state of education in the country right now, especially in education. That is really abysmal. If you look at it, throughout the whole country, and then also look at the rate of unemployment of the young people, which is actually the reason why we have so much crime in the country now. What is he going to do to actually address the issue of security? How about all the infiltration of the so-called herdsmen and what they are doing? So he has a lot of work to do, but he should focus on the things that will benefit the people and bring in security. Because where you do not have security, forget about any economic development in any place. Forget about any education. Forget about even health. So social infrastructure. That is very important.
Of course.
In any administration right now. Yes.
Although it's been alleged that he did not, while campaigning, that he did not bring a blueprint of what his administration will work with when he take over the issue of the state. Of course, we are going to come back to talk about that allegation and the issue of his blueprint. But we are going to go on a short break now, and when we return, the conversation continues. All right, perhaps are just joining us. This is State Politics Spotlight, and I have on the program today Dr. Samuel is attending through Zoom. Dr. Samuel is the president of Kogi State Organization in the United States, and of course in the studio here is Mr. Kolade Segun-Okeowo, is the president, Advocates for Right Leadership Association. Now, before we go on that break, we were talking about the issue of blueprint and what Senator Ademola would do when he's in office. Of course, we're going to come back to that. Let's talk about the issue of KSO. How would you describe the role of INEC and security agencies when it comes to as far as the just concluded election of Osun State is concerned? INEC, security agencies, observers, how would you describe the role they played in this election?
Well, let me give kudos to INEC for the just concluded election in Osun State, because if you compare this with what happened in 2018, you cannot but say, well, there's a whole lot of difference. In 2018, we had a situation where, till today, there are still controversies over who actually won that 2018 election. You know, there's a blanket over INEC concerning that election. The interpretation of the result of that election was somehow it started from the inconclusiveness. Adeleke initially won that election, and then something happened, then INEC did some interpretation, and then the election was declared inconclusive, and then some result, the election was fixed, a rerun was fixed, and that rerun was mad with violence that actually led to the death of one or two, citizens of the state. So if you look at that election, of course, on that note, let me give kudos to Senator Adeleke, because patiently he waited for another 4 years. He didn't make the state ungovernable. He didn't go illegal to turn the state into a chaotic a place. He waited patiently for his turn, and that is election. That is politics. Wait. It shouldn't be a do or die affair. If there's anything I want to celebrate Senator Adeleke for, it is that patience of waiting for another 4 years for his turn to come. And this turn has come. So I want to give kudos to the electoral body, the electoral umpire, INEC, and give kudos to the security organizations for being able to curtail violence, because sincerely that election was an election that has kept many of us on our toes. We were waiting, we were anxiously scared. We were scared, we were afraid.
Why are you scared?
Oh, of course, each time we remember what happened in 2018, and we know that the same actors that played in 2018 are the same actors of 2022. So we had genuine reasons to be scared that, wow, hope what happened in 2018 will not replay itself. But good enough, God being on our side, and then the people of Osun, having learned their lessons, decided that no, it is not time for violence. Let's just do what we needed to do and make our choice. And they have made their choice. They have spoken through their voice, their votes, and the state of Osun, or this Osun State, must move forward.
Dr. Sam, you subscribe to the fact that before the election was the result was released, you were scared. Why were you scared?
Well, the reason is simple. I mean, obviously, you learn from experience. And so if you were there in 2018, and, for example, like in my own state, Kogi State, where there was no election, but it was a war, then obviously all you can think of is, are we in for another war? Because like Mr. Okeowo said, they are the same players that are in there. And on the issue of the same players, I still want to just address is that one thing that the new reform, the Electoral Act that is actually short of is they need to control the parties so that they will make their candidacy for anyone who wants to be in any office, that they will make it affordable to all. There's no reason why they should limit it to just the people who can afford to buy. Because that's the reason why we can still talk of the same two horses from 2018 being there, or the same people who are still there in the ring to fight. We need to move beyond that. Because when you talk of politics, it is actually beyond just the people who have the money. It is the government of the people. That's what democracy is. And the people must be able to afford to actually be in there. But as is, maybe the reason why we didn't have too many other people vying for that, for the office, is because they couldn't afford to purchase.
We have 15 contestants. We have 15 contestants. We have 15 contestants who contested for that position. 15.
Yes.
All right.
And
okay.
And that doesn't make sense. We need to get to the point in Nigeria where we can actually get as many people as are qualified. Because those who are qualified, even when you look at it, are the ones who probably have the leadership qualities, who are the ones that have not stolen any money from anywhere.
All right.
So they are the ones who cannot really afford. And people should not use money as the means of getting into leadership. Because that's not what leadership is. That's the reason why corruption continues to be an issue in Nigeria, because we enable it. But look, when you spend 100 million to buy a form, obviously when you get there, you are going to try, when you win, you are going to try to recoup that money.
Sure.
You know, before you do anything. And so we enable it, and that's not very helpful. And another thing we need to also look at, that we need to push for any reform is, let us have direct primaries. So that way people will not be getting money to buy delegates. So that way things will still be open to everyone. Then it will be truly the government of the people, by the people, and for the people. Because anyone who is qualified can be in. But as is now, the structure actually denies the people who can lead us into development, because they cannot afford to purchase leadership.
I'm still going to pose these questions to you. This question to you, Dr. Samuel. In the race to the election in Osun State, the governor-elect, he was described as the dancing senator who have no ideology as far as governance is concerned. Of course, the party in that state is also divided. As at that, the party was divided. The national leader of the party too is to some extent weakened. Even with these reasons, they still won the election. What were the chances or reason that AP could have won that election? Hands down.
Well, again, I'm not in the minds of the people from Osun, but one thing I do believe is that the people decided to get the leader that they got for some reason, and I think that a part of it cannot be, cannot be, but the fact that they made comparison of where they are now as people and what they are facing in terms of their well-being as compared to what it was before the last administration came in. So I want to believe that their choice is based on their conscience, and that is who they think can help them. Of course, promises are promises. Human beings are human beings. They may deliver, they may not deliver. But the same people are there. The same masses that voted you in, they are there. They can decide to go on revolution. They can decide to go on, protests. Hopefully not violent one, probably non-violent protests to actually make their case. And that is what will make it truly the government of the people, by the people. Let the people be the ones that will actually direct. Let them bring in their concerns and then see whether the government will perform. Then the government has a chance to actually perform very well so that they can come again. But if not, then obviously they know that they are going to be voted out, and hopefully we'll have somebody who is more credible that they can rely on. But you keep on trying one person after the other until you get the rightful person. So I hope that Osun State in the next 2 or 3 years will be able to say, wow, that was a right choice that was made, that can make a difference in the lives of the people, and not one that will bring them to the same state that they have been.
Thank you so much, Doctor. Okay, so what can you make of this? Senator Adeleke was, quote unquote, was described as the dancing senator, and so like someone who has no ideology of what governance is all about. The party itself in the state is divided. The national leader of the party is also weakened compared to like the APC. Still, they won that election. What can you? Well, what helped them to win APC hands down?
Well, I don't think we will be right to say that only the PDP had internal problem. Even the APC had internal problem too. For example, the incumbent had fallen apart from his predecessor. And that's talking about Alhaji Rauf Aregbesola, the former governor of the state. They had fallen apart. They were no longer in the same camp. And of course, record shows that Aregbesola worked against Oyetola. Now, what other falling apart can you talk about when the incumbent is not on the same page with his predecessor? And everybody knew that at that time Oyetola was the anointed candidate of Aregbesola, but within a period of 3-4 years, they had fallen apart. Now, that contributed. There's no gainsaying, because whether you like it or not, Aregbesola has had his own foot soldiers in this election. You know, he has his own foot soldiers. There were people who were sympathetic to his cause, you know, and don't also forget that Aregbesola is a street politician. He's a street-wise politician. And one of the things you must guide against when you are doing politics is beware of street-wise politicians. So now you're talking about ideology that what's his name? The dancing senator, the dancing...
It was alleged to be a dancing senator.
Well, of course, there's no allegation. We all know that he's a dancing. He loves dancing. Of course, loving dancing is not a minus and should not be a minus. Everybody has a right to love something or hate something. If dancing is the hobby of Senator Adeleke, that does not take anything from him. That is a human being, and he has a right to love something. As we are seated here, there's something you love that I probably may not like. There's something that Dr. Alfa may like that I may not like. We all have rights to our personal what's it called, hobby and what have you. So hobby is dancing is the hobby of the governor-elect. So that shouldn't take anything away from him. Now, talking about ideology, unfortunately, we have said it over and over. Our election in Nigeria, our politics in Nigeria is not ideologically based. So if you are saying that, you know, the governor-elect does not have ideology, we are repeating the obvious. We are stating the obvious. The parties are not ideologically based, and that's why somebody can leave APC today, go to PDP, find his feet, return back to APC, he still finds his feet, then one day again, he returns back to his former party, and nothing has changed. You know, it takes nothing away from him. So there's a failure, there's an absence of ideology in that regard.
All right. So let me come back to Dr. Alfa. You're welcome back. Let's talk about what Senator Adeleke should do differently to end the trusts the people repose on him. What should he be doing differently as far as this is administration is concerned? What do you think he should do differently to end the trust reposed to him by the people of Osun State?
Okay. I would not say what he should do differently, because I don't even know what he has done before. But one thing I would say
what he should do different, perhaps the incumbent governor has been doing certain things in a particular format, and he might want to follow that pattern. But what should he do differently to what has been done or what is being doing in that state to end the trust reposed on him by the people?
One of the things that I would say that he should do to start his administration should be to actually convene a town hall meeting. Of course, you cannot have town for the whole state, but he should actually go to different places and conduct town hall meetings to hear what the people actually want. That will be the foundation for what he should base his administration on. What is it that are the yearnings of the people? What are the concerns of the people? Obviously, whether he had a manifesto or not, he had some ideas, but then whatever is it that got the people to put their trust in him, he needs to hear it from them, so that he can set the foundation for his administration based on that. Because then you'll be responding to the people, and you will be reacting to whatever they are saying, and be acting in accordance to what their needs are. Because that is when I would say that he is actually going to end the trust of the people. If you don't do what the people are looking for, if the people are still in the same condition that they were, which is what they voted against, if you still put them back there, obviously you are not going to end the trust of the people. Unless you just want to be there just for that one term and then you just want to go away.
No.
But whether one term or not, your leadership should be what you can do to effect a change in the lives of the people. Their lifestyle obviously is not satisfactory based on the administration that is going out. So for you to actually get them to trust you, then you will need to hear from them directly. And not just this one time, but you need to continue to hear. Maybe their representatives from the different constituencies should also be meeting with the government, with the governor. I know, let the House of Assembly also be ones that will table things that are the concerns of the people, because those are the ones at the grassroots level. They should be able to hear whatever the people are saying and then bring it into making the administration one that is communal, everyone is involved in it, and they are all working towards it.
All right, let's come back to KSO. Talking about the biblical injunction that says Jesus is the rejected stone who later become the cornerstone of the building. Of course, Senator Adeleke seems to be like that, a rejected individual or person who now later, who at the moment is standing as the savior of Osun State in another 4 years. How can he prove that is the stone rejected and now become the chief cornerstone of Osun State?
Yeah, of course, Senator Adeleke must understand that it's easy for people to turn away from a particular leader and turn to another leader. Within a short time, if care is not taken, that same, the Yorubas have a proverb that the rod that was used in beating the senior wife is kept waiting for the younger wife. So he must be careful and look at the antecedent of his predecessor, the outgoing governor of the state, and know that the fate that befell Oyetola is actually can be waiting for him if care is not taken. So he must not take the people for granted. He must not take the people for granted, or else he will just use another 4 years, and then the people will take a decision again. So he must just like Dr. Alfa said, he must take people-centric programs. One of the errors that governors in Nigeria are making is this: it is not enough for you to do good programs. Your programs does not necessarily, what you consider to be good might not be good to the people. For example, there are certain states, those particular states do not require flyovers. Some states don't need flyovers, and the governors of that state are building flyovers. Is it Lagos State? Lagos need flyovers. But there are other states in Nigeria, they don't require flyovers. So when you say you are building flyover and you bring all the press in the world and say, come and see this laudable, of course, everybody knows that flyover is good.
And you invite the president
to come and commission a flyover. The flyover is good, but is it needful?
No.
Thank you. The people don't need flyovers. It's not relevant to them. For example, in my state, I know some flyovers that when you climb those flyovers, you hardly meet more than 2 vehicles on those flyovers. 4 or 5 years after they have been built. You don't meet more than 3-4 vehicles at a time. So which means those flyovers, you have built it for the next 20-30 years.
You're from Osun State.
Yes, I'm from Osun State. You have built those flyovers for the next 20-30 years. But people don't need project of 20-30 years. They need project of now that can solve immediate problems. People are hungry, you are building flyovers. People are hungry, you are painting the city, you are making the city beautiful. When what the people need is physical empowerment, create jobs, create empowerment, let the people, let there be lights, create private sector power program. Let the private sector be involved in the generation of power. Let people have access to power. They will create wealth by themselves. And the city will be beautiful.
Thank you so much. We're going to be trying to wrap up now. But let me quickly put this across to my both guests. there is this growing first law of power which says that never outshine your master. This played out in the Osun State politics and governance. So, Dr. Alfa, how can we address this law that says that you cannot outshine your master? It played out in that state between the incumbent governor and his predecessor. Now, is it correctable that you cannot outshine your master?
Thank you very much for that question, Mr. Alaraju. In the first place, there should be no saying like that. There's nothing like outshining your master when it comes to politics.
Yeah.
Politics is leadership. And when you are leading people, there's nothing like outshining. I think the issue that we have is this. In Nigeria, we don't believe in some things that we call continuity of administration. Okay? So everyone comes in and they play their own thing as if being in government is a private enterprise. As if the whole state is their own company that they have come to do whatever they can do and then go. Not that it is based on their own egotistical ideas of whatever they want to do. But if we have a community of people who are ready to develop their own state, it is our state. And so if you are ready to develop it, you come in with your own ideas, you do whatever you can based on the collective effort of everyone. When you step aside, I will come in and I will continue to build on whatever you have done, then interject my own ideas too, so that another person comes in and continues on, on that development way.
All right.
But as far as Nigeria is concerned, we do not believe in continuity. That's why we make it to be like being in government is a competition. It's not a competition. No. If your purpose is development of the state and you are a part of that state, whatever you do, the development you bring in is going to affect everyone, including you and your own generations too. So we should move away from that idea of never outshining. In government, there's nothing like outshining because you are all working towards development to make the welfare of you and the people to be what you can live with.
All right.
Electricity, I'm building on it. You are not outshining.
Right.
If you increase the power and make things accessible. If you come in there and you do things that can improve health,
all right. Thank you, Dr. Alfa. Thank you, Dr. Alfa. Thank you, Dr. Alfa. Thank you, Dr. Alfa, for the contribution. Now, here, so in 1 minute, because we need to coast home now. In 1 minute, how do we continue to solve the issue of you cannot outshine your master, and what is your take home or advice on the table?
I want to toe the line of Dr. Alfa by saying that, there's nothing like outshining. Unfortunately, our politicians believe in, my successor should not overshadow me, or I want to overshadow my predecessor. Now, that spirit of competition is wrong. If you genuinely love the people, government is a continuum. Government is a continuum. No government can do everything. If, as a government, you do 100 roads, you have done those 100 roads because the people need 500 roads. They need 500 roads, and you have done 100. By the time you have finished doing the 100 roads, the needed roads will have jumped from 500 to 800. So you will be to look as if you have not done anything. So it is now left for your successor to continue from, as long as we are giving back to human beings every day, people are building new houses, new areas are springing up, there will always be work for government to do. So there's no outshining anywhere.
Thank you so much for being our guest today.
Thank you.
Dr. Alfa, once again, I want to thank you for always responding to our call, whichever time we call upon you. And of course, Mr. Kolade Segun-Okeowo, President Advocate for Right Leadership Association, thank you for coming. We've been able to establish today that there is need for the governor-elect of Osun State to do a town hall meeting, to hear out people who elected him into government, and he should not dispose the rights, the trust reposed on him. Until when I meet you again on this episode, on this program, don't forget, go and get registered and go and get your PVC. 2023 is out there. And of course, you can watch this program through the link or this platform as displayed on the screen. Until when I meet you again, God bless you and God bless Nigeria.